Let's face it, liberals are offended by everything.
Right on.
And they have zero sense of humor.
Right on.
Huh?
Right on. It's the party game that pokes fun at political correctness and liberalism run amok.
But making fun of them is hilarious for the rest of us.
So play right on and mock the progressive left and their fake news media counterparts in a variety of categories, such as race hustle, the wussification of America, earth snobs, Islam abomination, Hollywood hypocrites, and campus coddling. Feminism follies and rainbow games, and don't forget, millennial entitlement and many others.
Right on, created by conservatives for conservatives.
Because mocking the left feels so right on.
Give the gift of all year long by going to RightOnGame.com.
That's RightOnGame.com. Use promo code MOJO50 for a 10% discount. That's RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off.
And while you're there, check out the new drinking game option.
Warning, microaggressions contained in this box. Millennials and snowflakes will be offended by its contents. Retreating to safe spaces are highly recommended.
RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off. RightOnGame.com.
You are about to join Don Neuen, co-host of Cowboy Logic Radio, and Denise Simon, host of the Denise Simon Experience, for a weekly situation report, or SITREP. 18 hours a day, Denise Simon lives her life as an Intel Analyst. 18 hours a day, Don Neuen lives his life in the world of rock and roll. 1 hour each day, Neuen receives a daily SITREP from Simon. Welcome to the Drive Time Situation Report. Fasten your seatbelt. You're now in Don Neuen's car, and he is calling in for his SITREP.
Smello.
What's happening, Denise Simon? Ooh, wait a minute. You don't sound like Yeah, I knew it. I can tell by the way you sound. Well, put the bad mood on hold for 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you guys to tonight's Drive Time Sit Rep. On one end of this conversation, you've got Don Neuen, the host of co-host of Cowboy Logic Radio. And on the other end of this conversation, we have what appears to be one Denise Simon,
Pissy.
the host.
Can I say that on the air?
Denise, yeah, we can say pissy on the air. One pissy Denise Simon, who is the host of the Denise Simon Experience. Once a week for a radio show, she and I get together and we do this Drive Time Sit Rep. It's the most unique radio show that I'm aware of, Denise Simon, because neither one of us are in a radio studio. You are hunkered in your bunker down in Central Florida, where you've got computer monitors all over the place, and you've got little gnomes. You've got yard gnomes that are bringing you tidbits of information at your will. Well, that's not entirely true.
Oh, God.
I never saw any yard gnomes at your house. Although, you are at your home in your bunker in Central Florida, and I am mobile. I am in my automobile. I am driving home after a long, grueling day of work. And quite frankly, Denise, the only thing that I saw in the news today was that one of the artists that I work with is number one. He's at the top of the Billboard 200 list, the top of it, and he's only sold 823 albums. Now, that seemed a little odd to me. I began to wonder, is no one buying albums anymore? The answer to that question is absolutely they are not. But while he's only sold 823 albums and he's at the top of the Billboard 200, you might find it fascinating to know that he has had about 80 million streaming downloads.
How do you make money at that?
Well, I don't know, since nobody downloads my material. No, I actually don't know how they monetize this, but I would assume there's got to be monetization for this, and it's probably nowhere near what, back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s when guys and gals were selling records, what kind of money they would make. I'm sure it's probably cents on the dollar that they're receiving. But, I mean, you do the math real quick. You got 80 million streaming downloads. Let's say you get a penny for each one of them. That's a pant load of money. So the music industry, the recording industry has changed drastically in the past decade. And Denise, I see it every day because that's the world I'm living in. These guys and gals all come to me for buses to go out on tours, and it's out of control, the number of tours that are taking place.
Well, it would seem to me that the record label or the recording studio or whatever it is, they are putting these artists on some kind of salary, and they're negotiating with the iTunes and the Alexas and the Echoes and the YouTubes, for the revenue stream, and then they're turning around and offering the artist just some kind of a signing bonus and, some kind of a salary after that or incentive, like a commission thing.
I'm sure there are arrangements like that. What I do know to be certain is that we are now in an era where a recording artist pretty much must tour in order to make money.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to generate ticket sales. They've got to generate merchandise sales. Merch sales are enormous. George Strait would go and do a string of 25 shows, and his merch sales every night. Now, granted, George Strait is a big, big, big country star, but he pulled down $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 a night in merch sales.
Okay, good to know.
So, those $28 T-shirts and $9 koozies, and that stuff. These artists rely on it, but more than anything, they rely on the local community going out and buying a ticket to go see their show. I know a lot of artists that actually just give away their music online in hopes that people will come and see them perform. So it's totally different. Our buddy Kerry Livgren from the band Kansas,
mm-hmm.
He wrote songs like Carry On Wild Son, Dust in the Wind, the big Kansas hits. Well, for many years, he'd walk, when he wasn't on tour playing or recording, he just walked to the mailbox every day, pick up his check.
Yeah, because, the radio stations and the ASCAP, I think there's still ASCAP out there, isn't there, that has to, that has to pay them. BMI. Yep, they have to pay them.
Yeah, but there's so much pirating going on now, it's not even funny. It's sickening. Anyhow, I don't think our beloved listeners have tuned in to hear you and me talk about the recording industry, although I'm sure some of them are finding this beyond fascinating. Denise, let's timestamp this show and tell me why you're so pissed off.
8:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight on the 15th of January in the year of our Lord 2019.
Excellent. You are so good at doing that. Oh, before you get started, one quick thing. Merry Christmas, Denise.
Yeah, Happy New Year too.
No, you got to say Merry Christmas.
When do we stop saying Happy New Year, actually?
I didn't. You did. I said Merry Christmas because I lived in the shadows, being a chastised Christian for 8 long years under the Obama reign.
I said it anyway. The hell with it.
Denise Simon, I am done living in the shadows.
Okay, good to know.
Merry Christmas to you. Seriously.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Now, What are you so pissed off about tonight?
Okay, we have this federal judge in New York, an Obama appointee.
You mean a federal activist in New York, right?
Yeah, that actually laid down a decision, a very long decision. He took a long time a lot of pages, 277 of them to be exact, to block the Trump administration from asking a citizenship question on the 2020 census. Because
you knew one of them was going to do this. You knew they were going to do it.
But here's the thing. It's really quite remarkable, the hypocrisy in his own decision. Now, I haven't read the 277 pages, but I got a summary here. And this cat judge says that it would violate the public trust. If we don't have an accurate census in 2020 of the 300 and whatever million people that we have here, citizens or non-citizens, we don't know, one, how many, and two, who are citizens and non-citizens, then it violates our public trust in the numbers that come out of the 2020 census, does it not?
It's a joke.
Okay. And so the Constitution actually gives the Secretary of Commerce broad discretion over the census. But this judge, Jesse Furman, said that Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross violated procedures, and that the question of citizenship is arbitrary and capricious. Really? Now, we've had it before. The question has been on the census, I think, back in, 1950, I think was probably the last one. Okay, it does not violate the Constitution. He even says that. I mean, this cat ought to be disbarred, disjudged.
All right, let me ask you this. And this is somewhat of a rhetorical question, but why is it that one whacked out left-wing activist that happens to wear a black robe and has a lifetime appointment is able to overturn the will of the American people and the decisions that are handed down by a sitting president? It all of a sudden creates equality at a decision-making level between the head of the executive branch of our federal government and some schmuck liberal activist that wears a black robe in a circuit court. It's not at all. It's not. It's clearly not. But here's the deal.
His decision isn't final. It's just kind of like, we knew it was going to happen because we knew that they judge shopped this case. But more than a dozen states, I think 14 states, 6 cities, and the U.S. Conference of Mayors, including several immigrant rights advocacy groups, claimed in a lawsuit filed in April that asking citizenship status as part of the census is unlawful and would undercount populations. Undercount.
Well, yeah, if you're a Democrat that's trying to figure out a way to gain more votes.
And it would also, because they're undercounting, because they say that, people won't answer if you ask them that question. You've asked them all these other questions, and then you get to the citizenship question. So you've already figured out that you've got the person in front of you. They're counted. But anyway, understand something here. The census has a fairly sizable impact on the nation because it deals with voting districts, it deals with schools, it deals with highways, it deals with hospitals, law enforcement. I mean, all of our public safety, public stuff. So we need to know who's here and who, if they're not U.S. citizens, then we need to get them out of here. So maybe
we can't do that now. We can't do that. We can't do that.
I have argued, I know for at least a year now, that we have got more than 24, probably even 36 members in the House of Representatives coming out of districts that the majority of the district are illegals themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you've got at least 24, perhaps even 3 people that don't even deserve representation in Washington, D.C. that have representation in Washington, D.C.
And Denise, shock us. How many of those representatives are Republican?
Well, I mean, just look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, shall we?
Let's not.
Okay, so anyway, there was a separate lawsuit on this thing that was filed by the state of California, and that's being heard in San Francisco. Shocking. And then the U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear oral arguments on this very issue on February the 19th. So, this is...
And where do you think that's going to come out? How's that laundry going to come out?
Well, it's really quite... I mean, if as long as it's not unconstitutional, which this Judge Furman says it's not, then the Supreme Court should actually rule in the favor of Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary.
Yeah. You'd think. It's beyond me how laughable our court system has gotten. And it didn't happen overnight, but it sure as hell escalated over the last decade.
Well, here's the other deal. We've been hearing for 11 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever the number is, that we've got 11 million illegals in the United States. Well, that number didn't seem to change until last fall when Yale and MIT did this study, a pretty intensive study, I might add, using good math, algorithms, data that they could get their hands on, and they estimated it to be around 22 million, and it could be as high as 25 million. Well, that's more than double the number that we've been living with. Meanwhile, we got caravans just, threatening our southern border. We've got visa overstays, which is estimated to be, we've got 6.5 million people that fly into the United States every year, and they estimate that about 600,000 of those each year overstay their visas and never go home. Then we haven't counted the birthright citizenship babies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't even...
I think it's way higher than 25 million, Denise. I always have. And I also, related to this discussion that we're having right now, I want to remind the listeners that you and I, the first time that we had a SITREP, or for that matter, either one of our radio shows after Donald Trump won the election in 2016, that you and I came right out and said, you know what this is going to be for at least the next 4 years? Nothing but the Democrats throwing legal sand in the gears of Donald Trump. And that's what it's been. And I'm sick and damn tired of it.
Well, you better just take a Prozac because you got at least 2 more years of it.
I don't take anything, and I have to tolerate it because I'm not leaving my country. But this is just absolute BS. I got to watch myself. We're on AM/FM radio here, but I'm getting all pissed off here, Denise. Thanks. I was fine till I called you.
Well, don't call me.
Well, we've got a radio show we have to do.
Well, I just put out the facts. I take a clinical.
I know you do. And I'm grateful for it. It just doesn't always. It rarely makes me warm and fuzzy. But that's not what your job is. Now we got about 3 minutes before we have to go to a break. What do you want to touch on for 3 minutes?
Well, we have to kind of continue with this because the census, really has some impact on where federal dollars go, where state dollars go, where developers go, where How many people have moved out in Illinois? How many people moved out of California? Who's getting those transfers? We have to determine, is it changing the voting color of the state from red to blue to purple to whatever? And then we have to look at enforcing the Voting Rights Act. There's a lot of moving parts to all of this. And, I would say that this cockamamie Judge Furman, I would invite any of the listeners, call this courtroom up and leave a message and just, tell this cat that he's an idiot, because he's an idiot.
Have you got a number, or can you find one when we go to break?
Well, maybe. Let's see. Let me get his U.S. District Judge Furman phone number.
All right. Well, while you're looking for that, we've only got 2 minutes, and we have to go to a hard break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Drive Time SITREP. My name is Don Neuen. I'm the co-host of Cowboy Logic Radio. On the other end of this confab, you've got Denise Simon, the host of the Denise Simon Experience. Any road noise or background noise you hear, or a lack of fidelity, is because I am in my car and I'm driving home from work. I've called into my Intel Analyst, my valued friend and sister from another Mr., Denise Simon. And she briefs me on everything that I don't follow or read or research throughout my day because I don't have the time to do it. So I count on her 100% to bring me up to speed, and she never fails to do so. Like I was saying a minute ago, though, rarely does she leave me with a warm and fuzzy moment, and it doesn't appear that tonight is going to be an exception to that. I would encourage you guys very much so to go visit her website. Her website is founderscode.com. Founders with an S, code.com. This is where Denise posts all of her great work, all of her articles. And the one thing you can count on is that she's already done the work for you. It's all well vetted, it's credible, and everything she posts has integrity. So you're able to read it, repeat it, share it, quote from it, and you're able to do so knowing that you're not going to look like an idiot when you do it.
Area code.
Wait a minute. I encourage you to go to founderscode.com. All right, here's the phone number, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give it to you also when we come back from the break.
212-805-0282.
Again?
212-805-0282.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Drive Time SITREP. We're going to be back in 3 minutes. Well, actually, we may be back in 2 minutes. We'll see you in a minute.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
This is Don Neuen with Cowboy Logic Radio, and I carry my Sig Sauer 9mm every day. It's like a MasterCard. I never leave home without it.
And I'm glad you do, given that you work in Atlanta every day, talking about a rough place to work.
Well, Donna, I would say that most of our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners not only own, but carry their weapons, too. It's just the thing to do nowadays.
So do I, Don. And we need to share with our listeners a fantastic weapons company, Tar River Arms. Oh, and I should mention, they were founded by United States Marine, enough said, right? Badass-o-matic.
TarRiverArms.com. That's TAR Riverarms.com.
Tar River Arms, America's first virtual gun store, makes it easier and more comfortable than ever to purchase your firearm online. And through 3D interactive experiences, you can even view and inspect that gun you're purchasing.
They even have weekly specials that eliminate shipping and broker fees, Donna. Great guns, great prices, and great service. And remember, Tar River Arms is veteran-owned and operated.
Don, would you expect anything less from a Marine?
No, ma'am.
At TarRiverArms.com, you can search by caliber, manufacturer, and firearm types. Revolvers, semi-automatic pistols, including your SIG, Don, short-barrel rifles, long rifles, shotguns, and NFA silencers. They even have very hard-to-find products such as the H&K MP5. Totally badass.
Tar River Arms have some of the coolest high-end tactical weapons made, all at great prices.
TarRiverArms.com, U.S. Marine owned and operated.
Hoorah!
Hey, gang, did you know that the big cellular companies fund liberal causes and candidates, not Patriot Mobile?
You're correct, Donna. Did you know that the big mobile companies have spent over $100 million to elect liberal candidates? They also fund liberal causes, agendas, and organizations such as Planned Parenthood, not Patriot Mobile.
Here's how it works. You, our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners, pay your cell phone bill every month. Then Big Mobile takes your money and gives millions to liberal candidates who authorize subsidies to provide free cell service, Obama phones, to do-nothings who vote for more liberals so they can keep getting more free stuff that you pay for. Not Patriot Mobile.
So here's how you fight back. Switch to Patriot Mobile with unlimited plans starting as low as $20 a month and stop funding the big cellular companies.
Feel good about funding the right agendas. Every dollar you spend makes a statement. What message are you sending?
And it's easy to switch. You can even keep your same number, and they've got great nationwide coverage that includes Double D Ranch.
Visit them online at patriotmobile.com or call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
And for any of the guilt-ridden liberals, that's 1-800-272-8746.
Created by conservatives for conservatives. Their name says it all. Patriot Mobile. Do it now. patriotmobile.com or 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
Ladies and gentlemen, what message are you sending?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Drive Time SITREP. My name is Don Neuen. You've got on the other end of this conversation Denise Simon. Before we went to break, Denise Simon was giving out a phone number to a judge in New York who seems to think that it is an unwise decision for the census to verify whether someone is here illegally or not, or for that matter, a citizen or not. Now, any of us that have more than 4 millimeters of gray matter that is residing in our craniums know that this is dumb as hell.
A 277-page decision where he said that the Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, does have the authority. And it is not unconstitutional to ask a citizenship question. He just doesn't like it. So, his chamber phone number, again, the Honorable Jesse M. Furman, U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York, is 212-805-0282.
All right, we're going to give that out throughout the rest of the show, okay? So keep that handy. All right. So welcome back to the SITREP, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. What's up next, Denise? What do you want to talk about? Or do we keep going on this mental midget in a black robe posing as a judge, but really an activist?
Just remember that this judge, this cat, says it violates public trust. Well, I would argue that once we get the results of the 2020 census to know what was ever counted, that we can't trust the census because it's inaccurate.
Right. Excellent point, Denise.
Okay, so moving on.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Okay.
Timestamp the show real quick so everybody doesn't think this is a repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, get used to Merry Christmas. Denise and I are going to talk about it until December.
It is 9:02 p.m. Eastern Daylight on the 15th of January in the year of our Lord 2019.
All right, let's rock and roll. What's next?
So we had the first day of confirmation hearings for William Barr, who is Trump's next nominee candidate for Attorney General leading the Department of Justice.
Before you get into it, do you like this guy?
I do.
Okay.
And before, I have to preface this by saying the hearing started at 9:30. I didn't get to start listening to it myself till around 2. So the entire first round of questions I did not get to hear. I don't believe, given the tone that I saw in the second round and the handful of questions in the third round, that it was as contentious as I thought it might have been. I actually thought it was the part that I saw where I was pleasantly surprised. But I will tell you that Senator Blumenthal is the top idiot still in the Senate. I will tell you.
This is the proud U.S. Vietnam veteran, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that's who that was.
The other one, Mazie Hirono, our progressive Marxist from Hawaii, is I don't even know what there's not a word for her yet. She's just something that somebody needs to just step on. She's like, a flea that just keeps bothering people with stupid stuff.
Hey, Kakarocha. Come on, respond to that. That would be good, right?
What, cucaracha? The one that's really bad, that is truly a snake. I mean, a snake not only in expression, in tone of voice, in mannerisms, in defiance, in condescension.
Let me guess. Kamala Harris.
Bingo. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. There you go, Democrats. That could be your candidate, or at least a wannabe candidate. What a disgrace.
I find her to be... I don't know. She doesn't rise above a snake to me at all. I mean, just doesn't. But I will tell you that Bill Barr's mannerisms, his air of confidence reminds me very much of Dick Cheney. Kind of like his body language when. I mean, he was sitting back in the chair at one point, and he has this coaster that I guess his glass of water sits on, and he had the coaster in his hand, like he was just kind of sitting back in his chair, leaning back, almost rocking in his chair, kind of fumbling with this coaster in his hand, like, okay, what do you got for me? He's clearly not intimidated by anybody. If he doesn't know something, he's going to tell you. If he doesn't remember the law, because he hasn't been there since, 1990 something or other, 1992, 1996, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He just says it.
Does he shut down the libs with those kind of responses? Do they not?
Well, he says it very nicely. He himself is not condescending by a long stretch. So that's why his manner is good. I mean, he was clearly ready for Kamala Harris or Blumenthal or Hirono. And he would answer the questions respectfully, but he would answer them in such a way like, you can try and ask me a different way and you're still going to get the same answer. So just chill out. I mean, that was,
yeah.
I was really quite pleased with him. Now, here's the other thing that a lot of people already don't like, because all of these people out there that hate the Mueller operation and hate Mueller himself are not going to like the fact that Bill Barr and Bob Mueller have been friends for 30 years. And in fact, they work together at the Department of Justice. And their wives go to the same Bible study. A lot of people don't like that. It doesn't bother me.
I don't care if the guy does his job. We just went through, 18 months, 20 months of where the hell is Jeff Sessions?
Well, understand something a little bit. I'm going to defend Jeff Sessions a little bit here because... remember, Jeff Sessions came out immediately and took on MS-13. And that's still going on today. And Jeff Sessions immediately started filing whatever he could possibly file to hold up in grant money, block grant money for sanctuary cities. And of course, that was blocked. But he came right out of the chute, very aggressive, and worked on things. But again, you got that cockamamie Ninth Circuit, and then you had all these other things that were happening here too. And you know, he soon became legally neutered, because I don't believe that his Department of Justice had the pit bulls in it, especially as the Solicitor General, that it needed to have, including fighting against Obamacare, and fighting against the Ninth Circuit. But once these circuit courts do their thing, you can predict it, and then you automatically know that you got to watch it make its way through the Supreme Court if the Supreme Court accepts the case.
Exactly. But I'm going to go back, Denise, to what I said months and months and months ago. Jeff Sessions was a mistake made by Donald Trump. It was a bad management decision.
I don't disagree with that.
He should have never been placed in that position. We would not have a void, or we would not have a seat flipped in Alabama. And that entire thing, it was a bad decision from the start. And we never need to promote from within.
I don't disagree with that. I think Trump has made some bad cabinet decisions. Without a doubt, he has. And I would also argue on some of those that were actually good, they began to abuse their positions already, like Ben Carson and the $25,000 dining room table. I mean, that was outrageous.
Yeah. Hey, give that phone number out for that judge again.
The phone number. Honorable Jesse M. Furman, area code 212-805-0282.
And for the listeners that are just joining in, what do they need to do when they make that phone call?
Just call up this judge and tell him that, hey, you're an activist judge and you think that, it breaks the public trust. Well, we now can't trust the outcome based on your decision of the census because it's not accurate. We see people standing in front of us and we know they're illegal, but we can't know who they are.
All right, let me distract you for a minute, and we're going to give that number out again, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you got something to write it down with. Denise?
Yes?
This individual that you can't even come up with a name for, she disgusts you
Mazie
so much.
Hirono?
No, Kamala Harris.
Oh, her. No, she's the snake.
All right. I want you to spend a couple of minutes discussing with me and the listeners, what kind of America would you see if she were elected president?
Here's the deal. What you're going to see is a termination of funding going to the Pentagon. What you're going to see is necessarily a shutdown of monies funding Guantanamo. Although I would say that if we leave, and no one's considered this, if we leave and when we leave Syria, I would say that those Islamic State fighters that we have in some kind of detention, and we know that we do, not only in Syria, but in Iraq, those people are supposed to be in Guantanamo right now. Why aren't they?
Are you asking me that, or is it
just putting it out there?
Going to follow it up?
No, I'm just leaving it out there. It's like the big elephant in the room. But we're going to see where Planned Parenthood is going to become one of the top government agencies. I'm just going to make it a formal government agency because it is. For all intensive purposes, it's a government agency. We're going to. Do you
think if by chance someone like her were to, and I don't see it as a real possibility, to be honest with you, but do you feel that unless there's major correction done over the next 2 to 6 years, if a Democrat gets in office, do you ever see a Republican winning again?
No.
There you go. That right there
here's the deal.
Is
because
the big reason.
The Bookers and the Harrises were asking a lot of questions today about prisons and detentions and the fact that the majority of them that are sitting in prisons are black, and it's, way out of whack because, the whites, are worse than the blacks. Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to follow up on Obama's, and we're going to start seeing tens of thousands being released, way beyond the First Step Act. We're going to see a colossal lot of money being spent on social justice programs. We're going to expand entitlement programs. We're going to bail out health care insurance. I'm just telling.
You're talking about if a Democrat ends up jumping in the White House, right?
Correct.
Or are you talking about with the House of Representatives currently under Democrat control?
Well, look, the House,
because I see it already starting.
They held the purse strings.
Oh, I agree. That's why I was trying to verify which scenario you were talking about. It's already a bad scene.
It is. And here's the other thing. They're going to completely destroy Christianity. They're going to make it that it's the most taboo thing that anybody could do would be to attend church on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Or where I'm at, Wednesdays.
That's mostly a social thing. But yeah, but that's where we are. So I will tell you that we're going to have climate change. We're going to go back to cap and trade. Yeah, we're going to be taxed up the nose. It's going to be awful.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have a whole lot of time to eradicate this abnormality that we call liberalism because they're doing exactly what they said they were going to do on election night of 2016.
That's right.
They're going to try. They're doing exactly what they said. The one thing about libs is they tell you what they're going to do. It's just so damn radical. Most people don't think, oh, no, there's no way they're going to do that. Yeah, they will.
We have very short memories, and I would invite the audience to, just travel the internet out there and start reminding yourself of the situations and the scandals that we had during the Obama administration. We forget a lot of those things. Okay.
Oh, but there were no scandals during the Obama administration, remember?
So as a consequence, whatever we didn't like then, they're going to up the game if you would care to do
something about it.
Correct.
If you don't do something about it.
It is really a responsibility of every voter out there to spend an entire day listening to any kind of a hearing. It could be a confirmation hearing for Bill Barr. It could be a hearing for the Department of Homeland Security or the Veterans Administration or, an intelligence committee. I mean, whatever. But just take the day off. Just get some popcorn and just watch a hearing on C-SPAN. And you can begin by virtue of the kinds of questions that they ask on both sides of the aisle, but particularly on the Democrats. You will quickly see the objectives, the mission, and the motivations that they have by virtue of the ridiculous questions that they ask. And the one thing is that we certainly cannot forget, and I would say load up, is more gun control. And I would say that Ollie North, now head of the NRA, he had better start stacking his team because he's going to have quite the challenge ahead of him.
Yeah. Yep. Got that right. Got that right. Hey, give this number to this activist wearing a black robe again in the Southern District of New York.
The dishonorable Jesse M. Furman can be reached by dialing area code 212-805-0282.
One more time.
212-805-0282.
And what do they need to do when the people answer the phone there?
If we can't legitimately get accurate, comprehensive data from the 2020 census, then it breaks our trust in the document itself and allocations of federal funds for whatever agenda, from law enforcement to schools to highways to redistricting voting districts.
And this is because he handed down a 270-something page decision today that basically said,
you can't ask the citizenship question, which could be 22 million people.
Or, at least in my opinion, more than that.
Well, I'd like to
know. So there
know
you go, ladies and gentlemen. We've given that phone number out about 6 times tonight. We need your help. America needs your help.
Ah, God.
And all you got to do is place a phone call and ask some very simple questions.
Shameful. And he even says it's not unconstitutional. What?
But the reason that he struck it down was because he didn't like it, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's the definition of an activist wearing a black robe, ladies and gentlemen, that has a lifetime appointment. And Denise had a good suggestion, and that is that he needs to be disbarred.
Well,
because his job
impeach. Actually, you don't disbar a judge, you impeach a judge.
All right, well, there you go. Impeach. You used the word disbar. So
I did, and then I changed it to disjudge.
Disjudge. Okay. Disjudge or dat judge?
Who dat?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wasn't that just a mental midget moment with Ocasio-Cortez?
Which one?
You know, when she goes, who dat, with regard to Lieberman, when he called her out last week. So she gets on her favorite horse, the Twitter horse, and uses her millennial slang, and says, who dat, or who dis.
Listen, now we have...
What a complete amateur.
Now we have Miss Kirsten Gillibrand, who is formally announcing her exploratory committee today.
Sorry. Didn't mean to laugh.
Miss Me Too movement.
Well, you know, I was talking to Danny at work today about Me Too. And, you know, I'm all for Me Too. The problem is this. It's only in defense and support of a liberal. If you're a conservative, you're not protected under Me Too. You and I know a lot of conservative women that aren't protected under the Me Too movement. Don't we, Denise?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's go through these names real quickly. Let's just do this. Let's see.
Right, well, here, hold on. You got 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to have to say it fast. Tom Steyer, no, he's not running. Deval Patrick, no, he's not running, but they're activists. But we've got Elizabeth Warren, possibly Joe Biden, Beto O'Rourke, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Kirsten Gillibrand, Amy Klobuchar, Hillary, Julian Castro, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, and I would argue that we're still going to have a sleeper out there. So, just
who do you think that might be?
Well, Bloomberg.
What about Michelle?
I don't think so. I think they're having too much fun partying. He's made more money than he could ever possibly spend. So yeah. I think they're having too much fun.
We'd have to look at her tax returns.
Yeah.
Hey, here's another idea, ladies and gentlemen. We only got 30 seconds left, but why don't you call Congress and demand, or Nancy Pelosi's office, and demand that all members of the House of Representatives and all members of Congress must disclose the past 10 years of their tax returns. Wouldn't that be entertaining?
Well, they do file a financial report every year.
There's a big difference between a financial report and their tax
disagree,
return.
But it is a federal form.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Drive Time SITREP with Denise Simon. My name is Don Neuen. We appreciate the fact that you've tuned in tonight. We hope you'll tell your friends and family about it. And we, more than anything, hope that you'll be back next week. Take us home, Niecy.
Thanks for listening, and God bless America.
Out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
Hey, Donna, Cowboy Logic Radio listeners love law enforcement.
That's right, Don. And Charity Magnets designs and produces beautiful, high-quality products for law enforcement supporters and enthusiasts.
They've got very impressive honor badge car magnets.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got license plate honor badges.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got cool keychains and license plate frames.
CharityMagnets.com. I'm on their website right now, and this is my favorite, the Honor Badge dog tag. Look at that little doggy with the dog tag. He's so cute.
Donna, we're trying to do an ad read, and you're playing around on their website, which happens to be CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute.
Donna.
Okay. Hey, this is huge, too. For each sale, a donation will be made to Cops for Kids with Cancer. Cops for Kids with Cancer has given more than $2.5 million in donations. Yes.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Like Donna is doing right now, go to CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute. All right, use the promo code MOJO for $5 off any purchase. I know you all love and support our brave law enforcement professionals and their families. Show your support today by going to CharityMagnets.com and check out that little puppy. He's so cute. Hey, Don, can we go to the pound, get another rescue dog, please? Pretty
No,
please?
Donna, no. 5 rescue dogs are enough, but I'm going to CharityMagnets.com, and I'm making some purchases right now.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Enter MOJO at checkout and get $5 off. CharityMagnets.com.